our conversations about our relation, love through our nation, making the world a better place.
Hi, welcome to Our Conversations, a cousins reunion that started with a conversation, and now we want to share our conversations with you.
Hi, everyone. It's a very special episode. We've got 3 of our lovely male cousins joining us because today's topic is fatherhood and being a father figure and all that entails. I found a statistic in 2019, the U.S. Census Bureau released its first ever report on male fertility, something they never did before. And they found that 61.6%, which is about 74 million men who are 15 and older, are fathers. That's roughly 6 in 10 men are fathers. So we'd love to share our opinions and perspectives with you on this topic. And of course, we can't have this conversation without our cousins that have decided to join us tonight. So we're so excited to have you guys here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's get it.
Welcome aboard, fellas. So, the title for today, as you know, is that fathers, it's just not just the title. So my question to you 3 guys, since, you're here sharing, and your dads, most of you, is how does you being a father, how do you think it's different from the fathers that you have? Dino, you can go. Well, let me have Kevin go first.
Okay. I would probably say that I based everything that I do off of not duplicating the type of relationship that I had with my father. Not saying that it was good, bad, or indifferent, but just I remember sensationalizing as a young man about what it would be like to have a child and be able to create, whatever that I want to create with a young man, as far as all the things that no one showed me that I had to show myself. I felt like I'd be able to give a kid a one-up, because I worked with youth for a very long time back in the day. So I always had, kind of a passion for children. So for me, having my own boys and now my own daughter, it definitely is complete contrast because everything that I do is predicated off of their success, is off of their well-being, off of their health. All my medical bills is just from being an overcautious parent. Even though I'm a nurse, I still take them in. So a lot of the stuff that happens in my lifetime could not happen back then. 80s were a different time. The relationships were a little different. Obligations were a little different. But for me, the main difference is that I learned from what happened and tried to not do that.
What about you, Ben?
Me, myself, unfortunately, I fall into the numbers that I grew up without my father from the age of, I would say, I think it was 9 or 10. And right now my daughters are turning 21 and 20, and I don't have a relationship with them at all. They don't speak to me. And I wanna kind of do my own research on my past decisions and compare it to my father's, because he wasn't so much in my life and in my brother's lives. He came around once in a while, which I totally understand why, because of his upbringing, which at a very young age, I can't pinpoint exactly what age. I don't know if y'all can answer this, but he already was working on a boat, supplying for his family. So he had to grow up at a very young age. And it's not like he had family around him or he was being brought up by my grandfather. And back then it was just strictly education and work ethics. And, having love back then, that's what was considered love. being taught like what to do right, discipline and stuff. So I don't know if I fall into that because I failed as a father towards my daughters. And where I say I failed as a father, people might look at me as I've created basketball leagues, tournaments. I've coached kids that's gone pro, college, high school, girls. I've trained former athletes, kids. But people's like, how do you do for so many kids, but don't have a relationship with your own? And I didn't have a good relationship with their mom. So that also played a very big part because she used the kids as pawns. So I fell victim to a flawed system with the child support system and everything, and how they favored mothers and didn't really give a father too much of a chance. It's a little flawed, but that's a different topic, different day. But with me, I don't blame my dad for like not being in my life because I understand what he went through, which affected him from, I don't think he knew how to actually be a father to us, to his kids. And I forgive him for that. I love him to death. I wish me and him had a great relationship. We have a good relationship. It's just whenever we see each other, it's like, it's like we see each other yesterday. But sorry if I'm taking too long. But yeah, so the relationship between me and my daughters, I pray to God, and someday I guess they would be more healed, or me myself would be more healed, and that relationship could get back to normal, get back to what I want, And y'all know that I love family and I put family over everything. So for me to have my two daughters, not even speaking to them and just having a really tough relationship with them, it's crushing. So come this Father's Day, when everyone's with their kids, and when whoever still has their fathers in their lives, I won't be celebrating it with my father or with my kids. So it'll be tough for me.
Well, for me, obviously, I don't have any kids, but because of my upbringing without my father, kind of affected me from having kids, because I was so caught up on making sure that whoever I had a child with, I stuck with, because the feeling of growing up without a dad is crazy. It sucks, you know what I mean? So I always wanted to make sure that if I did have any kids, that I wouldn't repeat that, just like Kevin said, right? So don't want to repeat what we went through. We want to give them what we didn't have and then some. We want to give them that father that we didn't have, you know what I mean? So I try to do that with my nephews and my nieces, all my little cousins, even with the youth that I, coach and teach and all that, you know what I mean? So unfortunately, I don't have any kids, but at the same time, I do, you know what I mean? So
how many times have you been a godfather though?
I got 3 godsons, man. 3 godsons. So
I wanted to ask you if it's unfortunate. Because there's some people out there who don't want to have children at all. So
no, I definitely want to have children. I'm 44 years old, and I'm not saying no to the possibility, but it's not looking too promising. You know what I mean? But I'm not so much picky as to who the female is as far as my girlfriend and my wife, but more so who the mother of my child and children will be. And to know, I've always said this, like whoever I was to get pregnant, mistake or not, we're stuck together forever, because I would never want to give my kids the feeling that I went through. You know what I mean? So
what you doing, a Jada and Will Smith?
No. Cut it out, bro. Cut it out.
Like regardless of what happens, you're stuck forever. Like,
bro, trust me, if there was ever a mistake and there was a oops and she got pregnant, she stuck with me. We going and I know it's easier said than done with me as a single guy. No one wants to get involved with somebody, have a child, and want to go separate ways. Nobody does. Mm-hmm. But because of our upbringing, that's like my number one thing, is to make sure my children are not raised without me. You know what I'm saying? So us three, we know how that feels. That's
Dino, what I'd like to add to that as somebody who's divorced, and my children have both their father and their mother in their lives, my ex-husband and I will always be together because we always have to be there for the children. Correct. So even if the relationship doesn't work out, you can, depending on who the woman is, but you can create a co-parenting model that you guys are stuck together, but you don't have to be in an intimate relationship with her.
Oh, I agree. I see it all the time. It's just that, like, I guess you got to be one of us three to understand how that is. To be, especially being in high school, being involved with a lot of things, and your boys are being picked up by their dads. Your boys are practicing with their dads. Stuff like that father and son thing, us three don't know how it feels. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen it from all of our friends. Like that kind of, like, growing up as a teenager, that hurt. Like, you see it and you just walk away from it, but to not know how it feels is the part that hurts the most. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Like, co-parenting is beautiful. I love it. When you have to do it, you have to do it. But I've just always tried to say, if I ever was to get pregnant, to get a female pregnant, I was going to stick by it 100%, no matter what, just because of, the fact that I wasn't raised with a father. That's all that is. But, I take my hat off to all the co-parents and parents out there. Like, I love it, so.
I can see it both ways, because my mother is a single parent, right? So I see it in that way. And she, not that she had bad relationships with her kids' fathers, but some of them were non-existent, like with my father. I know how you guys feel. You have like that father-daughter dance. Didn't happen for me. You have a lot of things in life, like you want your kids to know their grandparents. My daughter will never know that. My grandson will never meet his great-grandfather. I met him, I think the worst spot was meeting him in junior high and knowing him for a few months, and then he disappeared. But yet he has tons of kids that know him, that have relationships with him. So you kind of wonder, why not me? You know what I mean? So I can see your point, Dino, why you would want your significant other to be in a part of your child's life. As much as me and my ex were not a couple, at the beginning it was hard. I tried. And so to your point, Ben, you can't always have that unless both parties are okay with it. It took them a while to come around. So now we speak, but it's not like where we have like this great relationship where we talk every day about our child and what she's doing and what. It wasn't like that, so sometimes no matter how hard you try, unless that other person is willing to meet you halfway, it can be hard. I don't know. How about you, Crystal? How do you feel about all this?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess I would just say first to you guys, thank you for being so like open and vulnerable with this conversation, because there's, the topic is fatherhood, and we all have our own like individual experiences with it, but there is something pretty profound about the relationship between a father and son. Just as there's things too, right? Between daughters and fathers and sons. So we have definitely our own experiences with that. And I think it's pretty profound to think about, like we had this conversation last month, right, for mom. So thinking about expectations and pressure was something that came up in our conversations last month. So what I wanted to transition to is to ask you guys, did you feel either from your family or a social group, did you feel pressured or expected to be a father?
Knowledge, you want to go first?
Yeah, no, I don't think I ever felt pressured to be a father, but I'll do a caveat on that and say, because I mean, Just a lot of things from that last topic that I'm not even going to address, but I was in a prior relationship, and part of the reason why I left was because I felt like the age difference, like that person didn't want to have children, right? And and to go off of what Dino said, a big part of the reason why I chose my wife today is because I saw how she was with her nieces and nephews, and I knew that she wanted to have children and that she would be a great mother. So that right there kind of let me know, like, okay, that gives her a lot of skin in the game, because once you start talking about family, you put away a lot of the other bull stuff. You know what I mean? You don't really think about, Instagram and going out, and you kind of start focusing on your nest, so it's a different perspective. But I'm trying to go back to the question that you had asked, and no one ever pressured me to have children, but I absolutely feel the pressure from having children, right? Like, so like the ability to take care of them and provide the best opportunity for them is like the biggest pressure that a human could ever have. It's the biggest responsibility to try to walk the right path, to try to, not foul up in life and, God forbid, get arrested or dead or something. So there's a lot of things, especially as a Black male, that you have to like really take into consideration as a father, because life insurance. I mean, there's so many things you have to think about, because you really can't leave them in this world without something, so that's been like 2022 for me. When I turned 40, I decided it's all about legacy. So I've been really harping in on that. So my biggest pressure is not to make children, but it's to take care of them when they're here.
Yeah. Amen to that.
As far as the pressure goes, that I think this question could fall on anyone that might had slipped up and got someone pregnant. So now you have to step up to, like, you're being pressured, like, oh wow, I don't want to be a father, but you didn't protect yourself, or you didn't do what you were supposed to not make it happen. I'm just trying to be really PG about it, but yeah, so I think that's the pressure that you can get. I planned my daughters. I wanted my daughters, and I haven't had children since. I have one baby mother, and I really after I knew that it wasn't meant to be with me and the mom, I never had children again after that, just because I didn't want to have that what they call that label that us Cape Verdean men get of multiple baby mamas, you know what I mean? I didn't want to fall into that category. And if I couldn't make it happen with the one person that I decided to have children with, then I was gonna really try my hardest to just keep it that way. So no pressure being a father, but like Knowledge said, I call Knowledge Kevin, sorry, I nicknamed him that ever since, because of he's intelligent, he's just witty, you know what I mean? But like Knowledge said earlier, oh God, now I'm slipping. He said something about depression, father. But go ahead, D. Go ahead.
Well, I'm glad you guys didn't feel pressure, because till this day, I'm feeling
and you
pressure.
feel pressure.
Oh my God, you have no idea, man. Every family function, from you, from mom, from the whole family, everybody's pressuring me to have kids, to the point where Bootsy said, my other brother said, I hope you get your next one night stand pregnant. Oh. And I know I said this before on another episode, but no.
Not a good idea.
No, look at him, yo. Yeah, no, not cool.
Hold on. If anything, not to interrupt, but you probably got a Rolodex that you could probably pick at least out of 5 good girls.
No.
Yo, this is Dino right here was speaking about OCD Dino, so you know how it's OCD? It's OC Dino.
Thing, I brought
that question because there's a real pressure for women to have children. And so like I definitely like feel for you on that, Dino, because there's a tremendous pressure, I think more so for women to have children. It's like if you reach a certain age and you don't have kids, it's like, what's wrong with you? And so I was really wondering like what you all were, how is it for guys?
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that.
Oh man,
I didn't know that women went through that. I didn't know that y'all like really go through, like, I don't know, like what age is it that, like that was good that you, like, I just learned that from you. I just needed to chime in real quick just to be like, wow, that must suck. Like, like you get to a certain age and people's thinking like, oh wow, well, no one wants to have kids with you, or no one, like, you know what I'm saying, you didn't have a connection, like what's wrong with you? Like, and some people just can't have children.
Isn't it 30 years old for women? Once you hit 30,
Yes.
So
Yes.
once you hit 30, things start to the perspective starts to change. And just to put it into perspective, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, when you're 35 years old, between 30 and especially when you get closer to 40, your pregnancy is considered a geriatric pregnancy.
Yeah, you're at risk. You're at higher risk.
You're
which is why being 45, it's hard for me to have any children right now. I'm not gonna go have children.
Hey,
whoa,
guy.
I didn't say they're
not
swimming.
him.
I didn't
hold
up. I didn't say they're not swimming. What I said is I'm not going to have children with any women in their 20s. Not happening, bro.
Okay,
yeah,
but you've got at least a 30-year-old. A 30.
What'd you say, Elia?
I said, but he's got to at least reach for that 30-year-old.
Yeah,
that's tough.
32 to 35. If you're in that range, they can still have babies safely.
Correct. Right. After 35 is tough. I seen something that said women 35 and older, men 40 and over, if they were to have children, the chances of them having a child with Down syndrome or now, as you know, like, is very, very, the risk is very high. You know what I mean?
Well,
not to say that I wouldn't love my child either way, but
that's a different topic.
I'm not a big supporter of it. I think that, I wouldn't say that I'm not a supporter of it. There's a lot of people that.
Well, you said that.
No,
So now.
Let me rephrase.
I'm gonna have my mother
I
call you
personally
tomorrow.
would not foster a kid. I know that my wife probably thinks that we could do it or should do it. But I mean, obviously, if you bring children into this world, you want them to look like you. You want them to talk like you. You want to see that process. But in your situation, if you were to just meet someone that was in their 40s that maybe didn't want to have children, and you guys did get like a baby or something like that and raise them, that would be cool too.
Yeah.
Oh, an adoption? Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
So guys, my question to you is, what advice would you give someone as to the best way to be a dad? So this question, the reason I picked this question is because you can be a biological dad. You could have an adoptive child. You could be an uncle who is just has that is a father figure, right? And has that time and gives that, has that relationship with your nephews or nieces, and you're almost like a surrogate father to them. So what advice would you give to anyone who is a man, right, in this world, on what makes a father? Because we talked about how it's more than just a title. Who wants to start?
I'm happy to go. I got something fresh on my mind. So yeah, my first advice to any dad out there would be take care of the mom, because your kids are going to be kids, right? But that relationship is going to drive you crazy. Like pregnant women, and then after they give birth, and then postpartum and all this other stuff. Like if you don't keep that intact, your relationship with your kids will suffer, right? That being a dad won't be that fun. So you have to have that cordial understanding that, yeah, there's going to be periods where they're going to be crazy. You're going to be crazy. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to scratch whatever happened during the day, start over. And at nighttime, put away your sorrows and lick your wounds and start over again, because parenting, another piece of advice is consistency. So if you can't bring it every day, don't make kids, because they ain't going anywhere. They're going to be there every day, crying, pooping, hungry, whatever the case is. Like they're not going anywhere. They have requirements. They got sports, they got school, they got all these things that cost a lot of money. So if you're broke, don't have kids. Like it's really that simple. Like there's a few things. If you're dumb, don't have kids, because then you'll have dumb kids, right? It's like, it's not even that complicated. You know, it's back to the basics as far as advice. For all these young folks out there that are trying to make babies, I waited till I was 35, right? Not because I couldn't do it, but because I didn't need to do it. So don't go doing it thinking that that's really what you're supposed to be doing because you're 25 or 35 or whatever the case is. Do it when you're ready, because if you don't have your stuff in order, all this stuff is going to come back and plop you in the face. You're going to have a baby mama, child support, or God forbid, you know, in jail for domestic violence. I'm talking about to my New England. I'm talking to my New England. I'm in Arizona. I'm sure it happens here too, but I'm talking to my New England people. I'm keeping it 100.
I can't wait for this.
Yo, man.
As you
All
know,
right. So now I'll go.
because go both ways. You know, as a mother, you should also have the same concerns towards the father. You know, you should want to have a good relationship with your child's father. You should consider feelings. They're also humans. They make mistakes. You know, a big part, I would say, of that is communication. And if you don't have that, man, I'll tell you, me and my ex did not have that. And well, that would be why we're exes. So.
Ben.
So knowledge basically gave you the angle of with the mother. So in my case, it wasn't, you know, too far along before I was a single dad, single fathers. Teach your kids true value, you know, like what to value in life, because everyone's got it really mixed up right now. And I believe like value God first, and then value time on earth that God has given you, because we're not promised the next breath, you know what I mean? Amen. And a lot of people take that for granted, you know. To be a great father, I think y'all hit it all on the head. Y'all all said everything, you know, the communication, the consistency, you know, show them the true values of life, like what's important. Likes and loves on social media is not as important as it is with helping someone that is homeless on the street, or someone that's being abused that really can't come out and be themselves, as far as if they're homosexual, bisexual, or lesbian. You know, I believe, you know, that's what a father needs to do. The best thing a father can do for their children is to just open their eyes to reality, and not so much of what's going on in this world, which is so fake. Like, you know, I believe the internet is the devil's church, you know, but unfortunately we can use this platform to preach positivity, you know, positive energy, and, you know, the word of God through it, you know, like take lemons and turn it into lemonade. But back to the question is, any advice? Yeah, just keep it real with them. Be their best friend. Not only, you know, be their bigger brother or their bigger sister, you know, not just their mom and their dad, but be everything to them. Be very understanding. Don't be old school. Understand that you're gonna grow out of what they like. So, you know, the same thing when we were growing up, that we wanted to do certain things and our parents were like against it, and we didn't understand why. And it's just because they were just a little old school. You know, it's just that times change and we got to adapt to technology as it advances, in which it's a gift and a curse, you know. Yeah. It's a gift right now because it's the internet that see how we're using this right now to gift, but it's, you know, it's more of a curse later on with how it's being abused. But good, D.
Yeah, no, I don't have any children, obviously, but the only advice that I would give, you know, on top of everything that you guys just said, is be the father, be their father, and be their best friend, and know when to hit the switch. That's it. You know what I mean?
Well, guys, we've had a great conversation today, and I am just so grateful that you guys could come and do this with us. It was awesome. And I want to thank you guys very much. And everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe.
Click, 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 click.
Click, click. I'm gonna go. I got an appointment. I got an appointment.
I can't. Yeah. Thank you, cousins, for joining us, and thank you for watching this special episode. We hope that no matter what your situation is, that you enjoy your Father's Day, and we appreciate you guys for joining us and giving your perspective on this topic. Couldn't do it without you. And it's Ben's debut on RConversations, so we're really grateful to have. So until next time.
I'm Eliana.
I'm Vonda.
I'm Ben.
I'm Deedino.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Crystal. And this is
Our conversation.
Hi, guys.
Bye.